In the far reaches of the galaxy, beyond the stars that humans usually traveled, there was a strange and powerful race called the Valzari. They lived on a large planet named Jarek, a place filled with tall mountains, deep forests, and shining crystal cities. The Valzari were known for their strength, their honor, and a special tradition that had lasted for thousands of years. At the center of their society was the royal family. The most important member was Princess Syria, a strong and beautiful woman with sharp eyes and a quiet power. She was not like other princesses on different planets. She was trained from a young age to be a leader and a warrior. But there was one thing about her that made every man in the Valzari world afraid. The trial night. The trial night was a test no one had ever passed. It was an ancient custom for any man who wanted to marry Princess Syria. Before he could be her husband, he had to spend one whole night with her in a sacred chamber. This chamber was built long ago by the oldest Valzari ancestors, filled with strange technology and secrets. It tested the strength, mind, and spirit of every challenger. No one had ever survived that night. Many tried, many failed. Some were scared and ran away. Others disappeared inside the chamber, and no one saw them again. The trial night was a tradition to protect the royal bloodline from weak or unworthy suitors. It was also a way to honor Syria's strength. Only a true warrior could join her. One day, far from Jarek on a small human spaceship, a man named Alex Carter looked out at the stars. He was a human from Earth, sent on a mission to Jarek. By the Galactic Council, Alex was curious, brave, and calm. He had heard stories about the Valzari and their strange customs. When the Valzari leaders invited him to their planet, he saw a chance to learn and maybe help create peace between humans and Valzari. But when Alex arrived on Jarek, he soon heard the whispers in the royal court. The nobles laughed and said, "No human could survive the trial night. It is not made for your kind." They warned him not to try because it was dangerous. Many men from the Valzari had died trying. Alex smiled quietly but said nothing. He was not afraid. He knew humans had a different kind of strength, not just muscles or weapons, but heart, mind, and willpower. The day came when Princess Syria gave her invitation. "If you want to bond with me, you must face the trial night," she said. Her voice calm but firm. Everyone gasped. No outsider had ever been allowed to try. The nobles whispered angrily, but Syria had made her decision. Alex accepted without hesitation. "I am ready," he said simply. The news spread fast. The Valzari nobles gathered to watch the event. Some wanted to see him fail. Others were curious. Alex was taken to the sacred chamber, a place deep under the royal palace, hidden from the sun. The chamber was large and round, with smooth walls that reflected light in strange ways. In the center was a stone throne where Princess Syria would sit. Around the room were strange machines, glowing softly with power. Alex could feel the energy in the air, ancient, strong, and alive. Princess Syria entered last. She wore a simple blue dress that showed her strength without needing armor. Her eyes met Alex's. There was no fear, no doubt. Just respect. The doors closed behind them with a soft hiss. The trial night had begun. At first, the chamber was quiet. Alex could hear only his own breathing and the soft hum of the machines. He sat down opposite Syria, ready to face whatever would come. Then the chamber changed. Holographic images appeared around them, scenes from history, battles, strange creatures. The air seemed to move, whispering words in a language Alex did not know. It was as if the chamber was testing his mind, trying to confuse and scare him. Syria watched quietly. She did not speak but sent small mental signals, emotions like anger, sadness, joy, to see how Alex would react. Most men would have been scared or angry, but Alex stayed calm. He smiled gently, sometimes whispered words of comfort, and never lost his focus. Hours passed. The chamber tested him with illusions of failure, pain, and loneliness. Alex faced memories of his home, his family, and his dreams. He thought about Earth, the planet that raised him, with all its struggles and hope. Syria was surprised. No one had ever held on this long. No one had ever smiled while being tested. As the night went on, Alex showed patience and kindness. He never tried to fight the chamber or Siria's challenges. Instead, he accepted them and stayed true to himself. By the end of the night, the chamber grew quiet again. The machines stopped glowing. The illusions disappeared. The doors opened slowly. Alex stood up. He looked tired but calm. He smiled at Siria and said, "I am still here. I did what you asked." Siria returned the smile, her eyes softer than before. She knew something was different about this human. The nobles outside waited for him to fail. But Alex walked out of the chamber, smiling. No one had expected that. After Alex Carter's unexpected success in surviving the trial night, the Valzari court was filled with both shock and curiosity. Whispers floated in the grand halls of the royal palace. How had this fragile human done what no Valzari warrior could? Some nobles remained doubtful, others eager to understand the secret behind his strength. But the trial was far from over. Princess Siria knew that the trial night was not just about endurance or courage. It was designed to test the soul, the deepest parts of the mind and heart. For centuries, the chamber had challenged every suitor with more than physical danger. It created illusions, puzzles, and emotional waves that could break even the strongest minds. So when Alex agreed to the trial, Siria prepared herself to use all the ancient powers she had been taught. She had a role, too. It was not just the chamber's test that mattered, but her own presence and will. She would observe, challenge, and push the candidate's limits. The trial night was as much her test as it was his. As the heavy doors shut behind them, the air inside the chamber shifted. Soft lights danced across the walls and the room seemed to breathe. Alex stood quietly, his calm gaze meeting Siria's steady eyes. The silence was heavy, filled with the weight of history and expectation. Suddenly, the chamber responded. Images flickered around them like stars in the night sky. Shapes of distant worlds, battles long past, and strange creatures appeared and vanished. A low hum filled the room, vibrating with power. Without warning, Alex felt a wave of cold pass over him. The temperature dropped as shadows stretched along the walls. The chamber was testing him. Then, in his mind, voices whispered words he could not understand. They spoke in riddles and warnings, hoping to confuse him. Siria watched, her expression unreadable. She began to send small pulses of emotion into Alex's mind, waves of fear, sadness, anger, and hope. She wanted to see how he would react. Most Velzarian men had failed this part. They grew angry or fearful, their minds breaking under the pressure. But Alex stayed still. He closed his eyes briefly, breathing deeply. When he opened them, a gentle smile played on his lips. The voices faded, the cold disappeared. Siria was surprised. How could a human be so calm in the face of such a powerful test? The chamber shifted again. Now, holograms showed memories from Alex's life, his childhood on Earth, moments with his family, and times when he had faced fear and loss. These images were meant to distract and weaken him. Alex watched quietly. He saw the happy days with his sister, the hard times when he had lost friends, and the moments he had almost given up. But instead of despair, Alex felt strength. He remembered his mother's words, "Never give up, no matter how hard the path." He smiled again, this time at the memories. Siria felt a strange pull in her chest. She had never seen someone face their past so calmly. The chamber was not done. Next came the illusions. The walls melted into scenes of battlefields where fierce warriors fought and fell. Alex found himself in the middle of a fight, enemies surrounding him, weapons raised to strike. He raised his hands slowly, not in fear but in peace. He closed his eyes and imagined a different outcome, not violence but understanding. The images faded, Siria's eyes widened. No one had ever responded like this. Where others fought or fled, Alex chose peace. Hours passed as the chamber created more challenges. It projected loneliness, showing Alex isolated on a cold planet. It whispered doubts, telling him he was weak, unworthy, and alone. But Alex remembered why he was here. He thought of his mission, to build bridges between his people, and the vow, single quotes, is Ari. He spoke softly. I am not alone. I carry the hopes of many. Syria's heart beat faster. She saw the power of human hope. Something. Her people had forgotten at one point. The chamber created a vision of Syria herself. In the illusion, she was distant, cold, and untouchable. Alex reached out and whispered, You don't have to be alone either. The vision smiled faintly and disappeared. Syria felt something change. The trial was no longer just about testing Alex. It was a meeting of two spirits, learning from each other. As the night deepened, Alex faced the final challenge. The chamber opened his mind to a flood of emotions: joy, sorrow, love, and loss. He felt the weight of every choice he had made, every moment that shaped him. Many would have broken. Many would have given in, but Alex embraced it all. He let the emotions wash over him, accepting every part of himself. Syria watched, amazed. The human strength was not in fighting, but in accepting. As dawn approached, the chamber slowly quieted. The lights dimmed, and the walls returned to their smooth stone. The doors opened. Alex stood, calm and steady. His smile was warm and real. Princess Syria stepped forward, her eyes filled with new respect. You have passed the trial night, she said simply. The nobles outside were silent. No one had expected this. Alex had done what no one else could. He had survived the trial, not by fighting the chamber, but by facing himself. Syria took his hand gently. Come with me, there is much we must discuss. As they left the chamber, a new chapter for the Valzari and humans was just beginning. The morning sun rose over the crystalline towers of Jarek, casting soft light across the royal palace. The news of Alex Carter's success in the trial night spread quickly. The Valzari nobles were stunned. No outsider had ever passed the ancient test, and certainly not a human. Princess Syria felt a strange mix of emotions. She had watched Alex all night. His calm, his strength, his kindness, all things she had never expected to find in a human. She wanted to understand him better, beyond the trial. After the trial, Syria invited Alex to walk with her through the palace gardens. The gardens were a place of peace, filled with rare plants and gentle streams. The Valzari often came here to think and find balance. As they walked, Syria spoke first. Alex, I have seen many challengers. None have faced the trial night as you did. How did you stay so calm, so sure? Alex smiled, looking at the colorful flowers. I grew up on Earth. It is not an easy place. People face many hardships. I learned that fear and pain are natural, but they do not have to control us. We have to accept them and keep moving forward. Syria nodded slowly. Your strength is different from ours. We value power and skill, but you show something deeper. Alex looked at her kindly. Strength comes in many forms. Sometimes the strongest thing is to be gentle. For the first time, Syria felt her own walls begin to lower. She realized that the trial night was not just a test of power, but a meeting of spirits. Alex was teaching her that days passed, and Alex stayed on Jarek as a guest of the royal family. He learned about the Valzari culture, their history, and their struggles. In turn, he shared stories of Earth, of human hopes and dreams. The Valzari began to see humans in a new light, not as weak or simple, but as resilient and wise in ways they had never understood. One afternoon, Syria invited Alex to a special ceremony, the ceremony of bonds. It was a sacred event where the princess's future was decided. The nobles gathered, watching closely. Syria stood before the crowd and spoke. Alex has passed the trial night. He has shown strength of mind and heart. Today I ask for your acceptance. The nobles murmured. Some were angry, others curious. It was unheard of for a human to be chosen, but Syria was firm. Our people must grow. We cannot be bound only by old traditions. We must open our hearts and minds. Alex stepped forward. I do not ask for your approval. I only promise to respect your people and protect this bond. A great silence followed. Then slowly the nobles began to nod. The future was uncertain, but hope filled the room. In the days that followed, Alex and Syria spent more time together. They talked about everything, fears, hopes, even mistakes made by their people. Their friendship grew deeper. One evening, under the stars, Syria shared a secret. I was afraid before the trial. I feared no one could meet the challenge, but you changed my mind. Alex smiled softly. And you changed mine. I never thought I could find a friend in another world. The two stood side by side looking at the night sky. Two worlds, once so far apart, were now connected by trust and hope, but not everyone was happy. Some Zari nobles saw Alex as a threat, a human who could change their traditions and weaken their power. They whispered in shadows, plotting to stop the bond before it grew stronger. Yet, Alex and Syria remained strong. Their connection was more than a trial. It was a symbol of a new future. The unexpected connection between a human and an alien princess had begun to change everything. The days passed slowly on Jarak, but change was in the air. The royal palace buzzed with new energy. The success of Alex Carter in the trial night was still fresh in everyone's minds. Some Valzari nobles whispered in dark corners, uneasy about the human's growing influence. Others watched with quiet hope, curious about what this new path could bring. Princess Syria felt the weight of her choice every day. She knew that accepting Alex was not just a personal decision. It was a challenge to the old ways of her people. Many expected her to follow tradition and reject the outsider. But she could not ignore what she had seen, the strength in Alex's heart and mind. One morning, Syria called Alex to the royal council chamber. The room was grand, with tall windows that let in sunlight and walls decorated with ancient tapestries. Telling the history of the Valzari, the council was gathered nobles, advisors, and warriors, all waiting for Syria's words. She stood confidently and spoke. Today I bring you the decision of the trial night. Alex Carter has passed. He has shown courage, wisdom, and a spirit worthy of our people. Murmurs rose in the chamber. Some voices spoke of tradition, others of change. Alex stepped forward and addressed the council. I am honored by your presence. I do not come to take your ways away. I come to learn and grow with you. Together we can build a future where our people thrive in peace. A sharp voice interrupted. How can a human so different from us understand the Valzari ways? Our strength is not only body but spirit. Can he hold the honor of our people? Syria met the challenger's eyes. He has already proven himself. The trial night is not just a test of strength but of heart. Alex's strength lies in his kindness, his patience, and his will to protect. The room fell silent. The old ways were strong, but the new words were true. After the council meeting, Syria and Alex walked together through the palace halls. The air was heavy with the tension of change. Alex asked, Do you think they will accept me? Syria smiled softly. Some will, some won't, but that is the way of progress. True strength is not in avoiding conflict, but in facing it with courage. Their bond grew stronger as they faced challenges side by side. Outside the palace, the people of Jarak watched with mixed feelings. Some were hopeful, eager for new alliances. Others feared what change could bring. Alex spent time with the people, learning their language and customs. He shared stories of Earth, a world that had known both war and peace, hardship and hope. In one village, an elder approached Alex. Your spirit reminds me of our ancestors, brave and kind. Maybe humans are not so different. This simple praise gave Alex hope. One night, Syria and Alex sat by a quiet river under the stars. The water reflected the sky, calm and clear. Syria spoke. I have been trained to lead with strength, but sometimes I forget the power of kindness. Alex looked at her. Kindness is strength. It takes courage to be gentle. They sat in silence, feeling the bond that connected them, but the path ahead was not easy. The nobles who opposed Alex's place in the royal family began to plot. They whispered that the trial night was a trick, that humans were weak and could not be trusted. Rumors spread that Alex was a spy, here to weaken the Valzari. Syria heard these words and felt anger and sadness. She knew that fear often came from misunderstanding. She gathered her closest advisors and said, We must show our people the truth. Fear will only divide us. Together, Syria and Alex planned a public event, a gathering of Valzari and humans, to share culture, stories, and hope. The day arrived, and the palace courtyard filled with people from both worlds. Music played, children laughed, and old tales were told. Alex spoke to the crowd. We are not so different. We all want peace, family, and a better future. Syria stood beside him, proud and strong. The event was a success. Many hearts opened. Walls of fear began to crumble. As the sun set, Syria looked at Alex and said, "You have changed more than the trial." "You have changed my world," Alex smiled, "and you have changed mine." The dawn of a new understanding had begun. The days that followed the great gathering at the palace courtyard were filled with hope and cautious optimism. The people of Gerak were beginning to see the human, Alex Carter, in a new light. What once was fear and suspicion slowly changed into curiosity and respect. Princess Syria walked through the crystal halls with a quiet pride. The bond she and Alex shared was no longer just a secret or a challenge to tradition. It had become a symbol, a sign that two very different worlds could come together. Yet, the road to acceptance was not without obstacles. Some Valzari nobles still clung tightly to the old ways. They whispered in hidden chambers and plotted to undo the changes Alex represented. They saw him as a threat, not just to their traditions but to their power. One evening, Syria stood before her council. The room was filled with faces she knew well, some loyal, some doubtful. "We cannot let fear control us," she said. Firmly, the trial night showed us that strength comes in many forms. Alex has proven himself worthy, not by force but by heart. We must move forward. A tall warrior stepped forward, his voice heavy with doubt. "Princes many do not trust. This human, they fear he will bring ruin." Syria met his gaze calmly. "Then we must prove otherwise. We will show them that unity is stronger than division." Meanwhile, Alex continued to learn about the Valzari people. He trained with their warriors, not just in combat but in understanding their values and traditions. His humility and respect won him many friends. In one training session, a young warrior named Lauren approached Alex. "You carry yourself with honor," Lauren said. "You are not like other outsiders." Alex smiled. "I am still learning, but I want to be worthy of your trust." Together they practiced drills and shared stories. Through simple acts of friendship, the walls between human and Valzari grew thinner. One night, under a sky filled with stars, Syria invited Alex to walk with her on the palace terrace. The cool air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers. "I never thought I would see the day when a human and a Valzari princess would stand together," Syria said softly. Alex looked at her, eyes full of warmth. "Sometimes the impossible becomes possible when we believe in each other." Their words carried the promise of a new era, one where differences were not threats, but strengths. As time passed, the bond between Alex and Syria deepened. They shared laughter, dreams, and quiet moments of understanding. Their connection inspired many, even those who had once been skeptical. Then came a moment that no one had expected. During a diplomatic meeting between the Valzari Council and the human delegation, a crisis erupted. A group of hostile aliens threatened to invade Gerak, seeking to exploit its rich resources. The council was in turmoil. Many feared war, but Alex stepped forward with calm determination. "We have faced darkness before. Together we can protect this world." He proposed a plan, using human technology combined with Valzari strategy to defend their home. Syria stood by his side, adding, "Our strength is unity. We will fight as one." The council agreed, though some remained doubtful. When the invasion began, Alex and Syria led the defense. The battle was fierce, but their combined forces were strong. Humans and Valzari fought side by side, protecting their homes and families. Alex's leadership, courage, and quick thinking turned the tide. When the dust settled, the enemy was driven away. The victory united the people like never before. The old fears and divisions melted in the heat of battle and the strength of friendship. In the days after the war, Syria addressed her people. "Today we have shown what true strength means. It is not only power or skill, but trust and unity. Alex has proven that our future is brighter when we stand together." The crowd cheered, their voices full of hope. Alex took Syria's hand, his smile bright. This is only the beginning. The human who had walked into the trial night chamber with a smile had changed the course of two worlds. A future no one expected was now within reach. A future of peace, friendship, and endless possibilities.